Let's talk about a movie called Mad Heidi, which was seen in theaters this week. I actually paid to see this. It was a Fathom Events film, and it's actually a directing team. It's directed by Johannes Hartmann and Sandro Klopfstein. That's the best pronunciation I can give. It stars a woman named Alice Lucy, and of course Casper Van Dien is in the film. It's sort of a twist on the tale of Heidi, which is like a Swiss fable, and this country is taken over by this mad dictator played by Casper Van Dien, who does not tolerate the lactose intolerant. Everyone in the country is forced to eat cheese. It's totally ridiculous. And when Heidi's boyfriend is brutally murdered for selling lactose-free cheese, he is murdered. She is put in jail, and she goes on a journey to become a badass fighter and killer, and it is hysterical, doesn't take itself too seriously. Casper Van Dien is super over the top in this. It is so gory and bloody and over the top. You need to be warned upon seeing this movie. Their heads explode. People are chopped in half top ways. It is horrific. I was like bursting out laughing and gasping at some of the kills in this. But what I love about it, the girl that's in it, the first time you see Alice Lucy, the actress who plays Mad Heidi, she's completely naked. And she's topless in it. There's lots of like nudity in it is literally like, yeah, we're just going to make an exploitation movie.
Yeah.
So
it's exploitation nudity, by the way.
Exploitation nudity. So it's not like it's part of the plot. It's part of the plot. Because
like ladies in prison.
So it's literally like everything you like about an exploitation movie. It's got like, mad dictator. It's women in it's the first third is like a women in prison movie. Then she finally gets out of prison, and then she goes through training. She does more training. And what's so funny is I'm thinking like, why do I really love this character? This Heidi character in this film. She thinks her grandfather has been murdered. All this like terrible stuff happens to her, and she goes through training. She's kind of a wimp at the beginning of the movie. And I'm like, oh my God, if only Rey Skywalker or Rey had gone through this kind of training in Star Wars, we would have liked Rey a lot more. And the woman in it looks like Daisy Ridley, and she's super hot too. And she's naked in the movie. It's worth noting. You want to know this so you're not shocked. It's the most female nudity I've seen in the film. And guess what? There's no male nudity in this. None that I could see. But it goes from women in prison to exploitation to training to like this big Colosseum battle at the end with Heidi, using swords and a staff. And it's freaking awesome. And I loved it, and I recommend it. It's something I'll get on VOD, but it was at a Fathom Events. See this movie. Check out the trailer. It might not be for you. I loved it. And this is to me, when people say, hey, we need to like make movies ourselves. There's nothing, there's no tick box. There's a checkbox, but it's all exploitation checkbox. Fascist dictator, check. They're basically like the Swiss version of Nazis. Like cheesy humor, check. Nudity, check. Gratuitous nudity, check. Blood, check. Gratuitous blood, check. Like it's the checklist of everything you love about an exploitation movie. And because it was a Fathom Events, I saw the Casper Van Dien introduced it, the actress introduced it, and the filmmakers, the two directors, Johannes and Sandro, introduced the film. It was made from a Kickstarter. They did a Kickstarter for this movie and released it in theaters. Bravo to them. This to me is like the new Terrifier 2 in terms of a film that I think will surprise people. I hope it comes back to theaters, but eventually get it when it comes out on VOD. It is 90 minutes, 92 minutes with credits. My favorite running time. So I loved Mad Heidi. Strongly recommend it.
Yes, I agree with you. I think like we gave it a 10. On
Film Threat, it got a 10 out of 10 from Bobby Lapierre, and Bobby's one of our writers on the Film Threat website. He reviews mostly exploitation movies.
Yes, I will say I had a great time with it. I fear that we may be overblowing it a little bit. I would give it an 8 out of 10 and not a 10 out of 10.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, again, we're tired of Hollywood films, the big Hollywood. Just the fact that this is a Kickstarter, that this is someone an independent filmmaker who wanted to make their movie, make it their way. It's like the only diversity in the movie gets killed off right at the beginning of the movie.
Right at the beginning, yeah.
And it was because of a bomb strapped to an arrow shot into his head. And that was like, but it's just like, yeah, make your movie, and it'll come off as much more authentic than trying to force anything into it. Definitely a good time with this movie.
Let's go to our chat comments and questions here. There are a lot of them. This is crazy. 10 out of 10 Swiss cheese. Oh, there is a Swiss cheese joke in there. There's also in this movie zombies, and there are fully nude women being milked at a cheese plant. It is so. Now, is it a 10 out of 10? Probably not. But exploitation films are always flawed. They're always flawed because sometimes the effects are cheesy, the dialogue is dumb. I know the dialogue's dumb. It's an exploitation movie.